Hello again, Cary Adams, the CEO of UICC, based here in Geneva in Switzerland. Going to our next part of the live broadcast with someone who I've admired for many, many years, Lawrence Dallaglio, who was the England captain for rugby, also in the Lions, I think, Lawrence as well, and has done a tremendous amount for cancer. So it's an absolute pleasure to greet him, to talk to him for 10 to 15 minutes about what he's been doing today, but also what he's been with regard to cancer and raising funds for cancer research, etc. So Lawrence, I can see you're in your kit still. So you've just come off the Solidarity Challenge. How did it go? Did you win? How many people were competing with you?
Yeah, no, it's an amazing challenge. It's the second year that I've taken part, and obviously it raises much needed and enormous awareness for the World Cancer Day, which is something, as you said, I'm very passionate about. Without making too many excuses, I didn't win. I had a few technical difficulties, but I hope to compete a little bit later on again in the day. Obviously, there's thousands of riders all around the world that have joined us, and I just think it's an amazing initiative, and it's something that we need to shine a light on, really. So the more people that can get involved, the better. But no, really, really, really good. Very competitive people up there on those challenges. And as you can tell, even though I have my cycling kit on, weighing in at a mere 120 kilos, I'm not really built for the bike. But maybe into a strong headwind, I'd have lots of people following me. But once you start climbing, things become a little bit more challenging for me.
Well, thank you anyway for participating. And as you said, there's loads of sports stars from around the world have been part of that, not just doing the cycling, but also doing Runtastic and doing the running as well. So hopefully during the day, we'll get a load more awareness around that community on the challenges of cancer. Now, your journey in cancer has been driven by obviously a family challenge with cancer. You've done an awful lot. Perhaps you could let me know, what is it that you've done over the last few years, and what are you proud of in your achievements working to raise the profile of cancer treatment, care, and also getting people engaged in the challenges that we face?
Well, obviously, we are all very much aware of the dreaded C word and cancer, and sadly, I don't know whether this is a worldwide statistic, but certainly in the UK, cancer affects 1 in 3 people, either directly or indirectly. You either have cancer and recover, you have cancer and don't manage to recover, or various family members. And for me, my mother, who was a real driving force throughout my life and my career, sadly passed back in 2008. She had cancer, lung cancer, lymphatic cancer, and fought and very bravely, as we all do. But sadly lost her battle. And I think when she was diagnosed with cancer, it really kind of made me sit up and take notice, obviously for the first time, to really understand the care that's available in the UK and very much across the world. And so it inspired me really to do a little bit more, to shine a light on it, to make sure that we, that no matter where you come from, whatever background, no matter where you're born, where you live, that you should all have access to the very best care and treatment available. And I think this campaign, Close the Care Gap, is a really, really important campaign, because it's, what I've learned over the years is that that the quality of treatment is available in the world, but not available to everyone at the same time. And often, because you live in a certain location in the UK, you've got to travel hundreds of miles to go and receive the treatment that you need. And that doesn't, that shouldn't really be the case. We should have centres of excellence all around the country, put in the right geographical location so that people can receive the care and treatment that they deserve. So I partnered with Cancer Research UK, with Harpal Kumar, who was the CEO back in 2008, and we went on a number of initiatives to raise the awareness of treatment. Whether it was prostate cancer or a number of other, cancers, and hopefully things have improved, but they can continue to improve. We should ensure that everyone has the opportunity to get the best access to diagnosis, the best access to treatment, and also to aftercare as well, because as we all know, the fight against cancer is a tough one for anyone, and it's not something that you deal with in a couple of weeks, and it also affects not just the patient, the person diagnosed with cancer, but everyone around you as well. So yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about, and delighted to be involved in this wonderful initiative and closing the care gap.
Lawrence, it's great you mentioned Harpal there. Harpal was actually, although he was the CEO of CRUK, he was also on the board of UICC for a few years, and he certainly contributed to our global attempt to address cancer control in places around the world, which ironically do not even enjoy the standards of care and treatment that you have in the UK. So that's one of the things that we have raised this as a topic for next 3 years for World Cancer Day, because every country everywhere has their own challenges in addressing inequity in access to care, and I'm pleased to see that now the UK perhaps today is actually making some commitments to address some of those inequities, and I know you and I have got an interview at the BBC later to talk about that particular issue. But I was really interested in how you translated your frustration and annoyance about the situation and bring together the sporting community to do your things like your rugby works, your cycle slams and things like that, marrying sport with a cause like that. How did that come about?
Well, I just felt that obviously sport has played a huge part in my life right from a very early age. I lost my sister, not cancer related, but I lost my sister when I was very young, and I think I became quite driven to try and use that tragedy as a way of focusing on my career, which turned out to be rugby. Being part of a team was obviously a huge part of that, and really when you get to the end of your career, wanting to use a little bit of that success and recognition and awareness to try and shine a light on on things like cancer and various other charities. So that was really the driving force for me. And as you say, the inequality gap that exists, exists all over the world, but it certainly exists here in the UK. I don't believe that because of your income status or your education or where you live, or that there should be any discrimination really when we're dealing with something like cancer. And really what the last couple of years has only exacerbated the issues that cancer patients suffer, because we've all been locked away with this global pandemic, and I think there's an opportunity now to to shine the light back on it, because cancer hasn't gone away just because of coronavirus. If anything, it's probably become more of an issue. So now is the right time to, not just here in the UK but globally, recognise that we need to continue to take the fight to cancer and do something very powerful. And sport has always got the ability to grab people's attention. I think it's very emotional. It's about love. It's about hate. It's about every emotion in between. And I think when someone is diagnosed with cancer, that becomes very emotional as well. So there is a connection, and anything that we can do to help, I'm certainly willing to get behind.
Lawrence, I could not have summarised the reason that we have World Cancer Day better, and why we have equity as a theme. So thank you very much for your support, and all of your colleagues are involved in supporting the cancer cases, the cancer challenge in the UK. It's an inspiration to other people around the world. So thank you very much indeed. I'm glad you did the race. I'm glad I didn't do the race, because as slow as you may have been, Lawrence, you would have beaten me by miles. Okay. So anyway, I'll talk to you later, but thank you very much for everything you're doing.
Thank you very much indeed, Cary. Thank you.
See you soon.